Good afternoon, Book 2. Welcome to Jack's Literary Corner. So I thought I would give you guys an update since I'm off today. I have to go back to work tomorrow, but then I'm off on Wednesday. And then I'm working Thursday and Friday, but then I'm off on Saturday and Sunday. So it seems like my work schedule is taking on a pattern this week, although I think I'm going to be working the next couple weeks a lot more, almost every day, because I did ask to have in advance. I did ask to have off in Christmas, and I just got confirmed that I got it. And I got the time off. So today I was almost tempted to go to the bookstore, but I didn't because I went to the bookstore on Saturday. But I did go to the library because I couldn't go on Saturday, and the library is closed on Sundays. So I had to go Saturday, and I couldn't go tomorrow, which is the day my books are due back. Okay, let's see. Let me show you. So let's see. First, I finally started reading Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. So, I don't know what to say about it except for I like it. We are basically introduced to our character, and it's kind of one of these, like, it's almost like a diary, but without the Dear Diary part. It's him recording his experiences. Our character Gulliver talking about his experiences, but he is this young man who he trained to be a doctor, and he ends up becoming a doctor that travels, and on one of his voyages there's a storm and he gets separated and ends up on an island with the little people. And then later in the story, I believe he's going to end up with a group of giant type people too. So I just got up to the point where he's on the beach with the little people, the Lilliputians, and they had tied him up and tried to shoot him with arrows, but I mean he's a giant to them. So he tried to kind of make friends with the leaders of the island, with the king of this island. And that's all I really read. I'm glad I read it because it's a very interesting, and I wanted to read it for, and again, I wanted to read it for that literary. So this next book I actually grabbed is not a library book, but is my own book. I started reading Hidden Sea, by Gregory Maguire. And I ended up choosing this one because I decided to read this one this month because it's not a Christmas set story, but it's a story that is the origins of the Nutcracker. So it's kind of a Nutcracker retelling, which is a famous Christmas ballet. And this is the Nutcracker's history, and that's what Gregory Maguire does. That where he takes fairy tales and tells his own version of them, but he often makes them a little more historical, with the exception of the Wicked years. Like he does Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, which is like the Cinderella story from one of the ugly stepsisters' perspectives. I think that one's set in a part of Germany. You have Mirror Mirror, which is a Snow White retelling set in Italy. And I believe that the Snow White character her family is the Borgias, I believe. But so this one seems to be set in Germany because I mean it's the Nutcracker. And all I've read so far of it is we have this boy who is living with this older couple, a woodcutter and his wife, and the woodcutter is trying to teach the boy how to cut wood, but there's a bit of an accident where he accidentally hits the old man with the axe. And then when he's trying to cut down the tree, he ends up hitting him, or the tree ends up falling on top of him, and he dies, ends up in this mysterious land, but because the forest people are like, you killed our sister, so you're not welcome here. And somehow he ends up coming back, even though the elderly couple thinks he's dead. And that's as far as I got in this one. But it's good so far. Like, Gregory Maguire has a very interesting way of writing. He's very, and this one feels very much like a fairy tale with the writing, including the fact that they just call the main character a boy, refer to him as the boy. His name is not revealed yet. But, I love the covers of Gregory Maguire's books. Especially the original editions, because I do have mass market versions of Wicked and Son of a Witch. And they're one of them, Wicked was the only one who was made into a musical, so it's the musical poster cover. And Son of a Witch actually has the original book cover, but it doesn't have the dust jacket, and it's not a cover like this. Which I think this is just real. I love this cover, and I love that I can take off the dust jacket and I still have this really cool cover. That's why I don't like taking off my dust jackets, because a lot of times books are plain. They don't have anything on them. Okay, so that's the only that non-library book that I have. So I'll just show you what's in my backpack first. Okay, I'll get out the stuff's in my backpack. Sorry, I just felt so awkward. I was trying really hard to basically just keep my eye on the screen. But like my room, the entrance to the attic is in my closet. So we took the Christmas stuff. We set up the Christmas stuff yesterday. So they gotta put the boxes, not that they emptied them. They need to put them back in the attic. So I was trying to keep going with I was trying to keep going, and my dad was coming in my room, so. Okay, so really, there's nothing new in here. It's just Sisters of the Winter Wood, which actually is perfect to read right now. Okay, so, Practical Magic, and then A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Okay, so what I think I might do is read The Sisters of the Winter Wood in bed tonight. So I think I might do. I might read that one, instead. And read a lot of the Hidden Sea book. I'll read a lot more of that today, and then read Sisters of the Winter Wood in bed tonight, since Winter Wood. Okay, so I mean, nothing new there. Okay, so here are my new books. I decided to go ahead and give the library back the Buccaneers, the Edith Wharton book, and just focus on the Edith Wharton books I actually have physically up here on my shelf. And then I went ahead and gave them the collection of short novels by Tolstoy. I went and gave that back to the library because I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I just didn't have the desire to read it. It's a collection of short novels, and then one of the novels in there, I have it. Anyway, I have a separate paperback edition of it, so. And I can always come back and check it out again at some point. And then I gave them, and then of course Never Seen. I actually read that, and then the other two books were The Bone Witch and I think that's it. I think that's all of them. And you guys know with The Bone Witch, I decided to, Normal People. The Bone Witch Normal People, I DNF. You guys know I DNF those. Okay, so the new books I ended up getting were, okay, so my rascal scratching. Yes, mister? Almost tripped. Okay, where was I? Where are those books? Okay, they are right here. Okay, so first the book I decided to bring home was China Rich Girlfriend, which is the second book to Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I liked the first one. It was fun. I liked the movie too. And I was like, oh, I would like to read the second one at some point and then read the third one at some point. But I didn't want to buy it because I wasn't that in love with the story. I mean, I liked it. It's fun and, it was very entertaining. But it's not one that I would necessarily want to spend the money to buy it. So, but sometimes the problem is, like, sometimes I only buy books that I'm interested in reading because they don't have them at the library, or I can't get them cheap at the bookstore. And there's the problem. There's sometimes books I'm interested in that I want to check out, but I never will because they're not at the library. I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world if I don't check them out. But some of them really am genuinely interested. Like, I want to have an Audible account or something. I want to have one of those accounts so I can. But I wouldn't know where I would get access. I guess either my Mac or my iTouch maybe. That's fine. I probably could do that. I probably can use my iTouch to get access to it. But this, like I said, this is the second one to Crazy Rich Asians. I don't know what's going to happen in this one. I do know the third one, Rich People Problems, is kind of focused on the grandma. Oh, okay, so it looks like in this one, Rachel's gonna look for her birth father. Oh, so she basically ends up meeting more rich people that gets even more involved with more rich people. But let me tell you what the first book is about, if you know. So in the first book, Crazy Rich Asians, you have Rachel and Nick are two college professors who have been dating for a long time, and Nick has decided that it's time for Rachel to meet his family, especially since his best friend's wedding is coming up and he is going to be the best man, so of course he wants Rachel to be his date. But there's one tiny problem. He has not told Rachel that his family is crazy rich. So Rachel becomes mixed up in his crazy, judgmental, rich, snobby family, surrounded by all these crazy relatives, and a lot of people that are not biological family, but they're kind of, they're connected to this world that they all have. All these women that basically have a crush on Nick and would have loved to be his girlfriend and would love to marry him, and it's very funny. A lot of good descriptions of food and just craziness and snarkiness, and it's a fun ride if it's your kind of thing. And normally these kinds of books are not my kind of thing, But I actually, like I said, I actually kind of enjoyed. I liked it. It was funny and entertaining. And as someone who's part Asian herself, I kind of, was like, almost like, I should check it out. Maybe I can relate to it on some level. And sometimes, not that my grandma is a snob or anything, but sometimes I saw my grandma in these characters. Like I said, not that she's snobby or anything, because my grandma's very down to earth, mostly. But it was just fun. I really liked it. So and all three novels are at the library. So are at the library. So I'm going to read this one, and then maybe after that one, I'm going to get the next one and read this next one. Okay, so I think the last two books I got from the library were, okay, so first let me go in. This is the 5th book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. So I'm guessing that is, what's his name? Sorry, let's look at the cover. But I really like these covers because they have the characters, cartoon drawings of the characters, whoever the main ones are in this one. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I can't tell who that is. Because, I mean, it has to be one of the characters that has, like, the fire power or whatever. Pyrokinetic power. Sorry. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out who's on this cover with our main character, Sophie. But, this is the 5th book in the series. I think she just had one more book. I don't know if it's the last book in the series that's coming out. I'm gonna have to double check that, but she just had another one coming out. But there's this one, Lodestar, and then Nightfall is the next one. And then, like I said, I don't know what comes after Nightfall. But after book 4's cliffhanger, when I consider to be a cliffhanger, I was like, oh my god, I have to read the next book. But of course, I had to wait until after Thanksgiving weekend. So sunny. I'm so glad it's sunny because, when it's not sunny, it makes it really cold. And I'm gonna go running after not too long after this. But yeah, this is such a great series. It's so fun. I mean, there's like fun and whimsical about middle grade books. I mean, it's so magical about them. They're so light and fluffy, and they're not as scary as YA or as adult books. They don't, because their audience is between the ages of 12 and 15. So they're just, well, maybe 11, 15. They're just like fun, and they're warm, and they kind of give you nice, warm, whimsical feelings when you read them. But I'm really liking this series. I'm having such a good time with it. Can't wait to read this one. Okay, so next, the last book that I have here from the library is An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. And Corey, this was an Oprah book club pick. But I've heard a lot about this. This was one of those heard a lot about this book. I think this one was actually on a Goodreads nomination book for one of best fiction. I don't know if it won the award or not. I'll have to double check that. But I mean, I don't know. Actually, no, it didn't. We haven't got the winners yet because December just started. So it is, but it has been nominated. I don't know if it's gonna win, but at least I'm reading it now, so I could technically vote for it if I really love it. But then that wouldn't be fair because I probably haven't read any of the other books. I don't know if I voted. I don't know if I already voted or not for that one because I probably didn't read any of them. But this is basically about a young couple, and the husband gets accused of a crime he did not commit, that he goes to jail for. I think it's murder. I think the woman gets murdered. This old woman gets murdered. And it's about them coping with that, and they continuously write letters to each other, but the guy's in there for a long time, and it's a struggle for his wife to deal with that. I think she's gonna end up moving on at some point. I imagine it's gonna be a very heartbreaking read. But I saw it there, and it's one of those special fiction books. Like I said, it was nominated in the fiction section of Goodreads. A lot of people were talking about it. Oh, I guess it must be multi-perspective. So I just want to check, because I'm wondering if this is, because it says the name of the guy on the first page. Like the first chapter is titled by the guy's name. So usually, yeah, okay. So which makes sense. Because it's the guy's gonna end up in jail, and it's gonna be about their lives together separately. So yeah, and it doesn't look like that it's that long of a book, and it was one that I was interested, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it or not. But I'm gonna read it. So that's what's going on with my reading. I also keep thinking about what I'm gonna do next year, but I don't want to start reading any of my books for next year, but I'm almost tempted to start some of them, like some of the classics I want to read. And I'm definitely, what I'm going to do from now on is just like with what I'm doing with Stephen King, I'm going to start with the shorter books, like shorter classics over the bigger classics, and get those read first. Although I'm going to continue buying books, so. But I'm going to read a lot of my shorter classics first, and then get to the bigger ones like Bleak House and War and Peace. By the way, excuse me. I actually am going to start with. I'm going to join the 2020 Reading Classics Challenge. I can't remember her name. Who it was that created. Not Lauren in the Books, or not Lauren Wade, but she's another British booktuber. I cannot remember her name. But I'm going to, what is her name? Let me see something. Let me check something. Oh, don't do that. Okay. Alright, I'm trying to find her name on here. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Where is she? I'm trying to find Lucy the Reader. So Lucy the Reader, she's hosting this challenge all year round where you read classics, because she wants classics to be out there more, because a lot of people there's not a lot of classics readers or classic specific channels out there. A lot of people would prefer reading modern fiction because reading classics or older books is a lot more challenging. The writing styles is a bit different from today's modern works. But I got really excited about this challenge. There's a lot, and this helps with my own personal challenge, which is wanting to continue to read more classics. I'm pretty sure I read a lot more this year than I did back in last year in 2018. So I'm going to continue. I want to continue with that trend, and this should help me with that. So I'm definitely going to try to read a classics each month. But like I said, there are some classics that will take me longer to read. That's why I'm starting with the shorter ones, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, some of the plays, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Some of Thomas Hardy's books look pretty short. Not Test of D'Urbervilles, but his other ones like Jude the Obscure, The Mayor of Casterbridge, The Return of the Native. Oh, I can't. Oh, sorry. Oh, Pioneers, Pamela. I have a collection of. I ended up buying the collection of Eve Warden's short novels or novellas. This one is The Death of Ivan Ilyich and Other Stories. Oh, wait, let me check something real quick. I gotta check something. I just realized something. This. Oh, well, it doesn't have. I don't know if it has all, but oh my god, I just realized. I might not have need to borrow that one after all, because. Oh, well, although it doesn't have one. There's one of them that I know is not in here. But. So I didn't even need to get that book from the library. Anyway, the Tolstoy collection of short stories that I got from the library. I did not need to get that one because this one has most of them in it. I just realized that. I mean, it doesn't have the there's one that I know is the Brother Hussars. Two Hussars. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I only read like a couple pages of that, so I couldn't really tell you what it's about. But that one's not in here. But this mostly, I think, has all the ones in that collection anyway. So, like, Family Happiness, Kurtzer Sonata, Haji Marad, and then of course, The Death of Ivan Ilyich. So they're all in here. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them are in here. So I didn't even need to get that one, with the exception of that one story is not being in here. But anyway, so I want to read a lot of class. So I'm trying to. Oh, and this one too. This is another one that looks pretty short. Not super short, but Under Western Eyes. Joseph Conrad. He's not a Russian author, but it takes place in Russia, pre-revolutionary Russia. So I'm slowly but surely collecting a lot of Russian set literature as far as classic goes. Okay, so and then of course there's a lot of other books I want to get to. I want to do better. I'm always wanting to do better each year because it almost feels like I didn't read enough before I joined BookTube. But I think that's because BookTube makes you aware of so many books out there. And there are so many fantasies that I never got. I feel like I didn't get to because I was focused on like Twilight and Harry Potter, which yes, I was a Twilight fan. And I feel like this introduces me to the other series. Oh, and Song of Ice and Fire series too. I read that one. Where I started to read it, but then I stopped halfway through book 3. And I'm still gonna read it. I still loved it and everything, but it's a dense book. That's a dense series. But yeah, so it's like I'm always striving to read more books and discover more books and add more variety to my reading life. Thanks to BookTube, and that's one of my major goals the last several years, the last few years now, is to just continue adding more variety and reading more different types of books, exploring different books. Although it is a struggle because there are some, like, I like to believe read a variety, but then there are some that I just, like, I'm not a huge fan of thrillers, although I liked Rebecca, but it did help that Rebecca was historical and considered in an older book. I think that helped with the thrillers because it made it a little more interesting, at least to me. But to be fair, I haven't read a lot of thrillers. I think I've read only a few. So I guess I can't really say that, but they seem, just by the descriptions alone, they seem kind of repetitive, even if I haven't read a lot of them. I do want to give, I think I might want to give Tana French another try. Like, maybe start with The Witch Elm. It's just, my other hesitancy is, again, another series, one of those long ongoing series that has, there's not a set ending, final book to the series. Like, it's one of those series that just keeps writing books, like, Boxcar Children or Nancy Drew. Like, a lot of the middle grade YA books of the 90s were like that, where they just kept writing books in the series. Because, the plots were pretty, eventually, at some point, those plots would get recycled and repeated, and they would get repetitive. But you could keep going for a long time with those series. But, I just want to, keep, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was talking about, and then there's, like, and of course, like, erotica and stuff is definitely not my thing. I did read that one trilogy by Anne Rice that she wrote under a different name, the same Beauty trilogy, and it's like, never again. I'm not reading something like that ever again. And of course, she published a final book with the main character all grown up and having her own kingdom. And just the way she turns out. Maybe that does happen, or maybe something like that. That's how it would turn out for someone in that kind of situation. But I did not like that, finding out that's what ends up happening, in that book, in that series. I'm trying to think of what else. I can't think of what else. What other series that I'm definitely a no-no for? Romance. Although that's not entirely a no-no for me, but you can also say that about thrillers too. They aren't entirely no-nos, but they're ones that I'm very selective with whenever you put it that way. So, which basically means that I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite with my friend, because in a way I can be picky about certain genres too. Although I'm, as I always say, I'm a little more open than my friend. I'm not as picky, but I do get a little picky. But I think everybody is a little picky on some level. Whether it's books or food or, clothing style or, or music, whatever. I think we all can be a little picky about things that we like. But anyway, okay, so I am done. I'm going to stop talking for now and updating you guys on my reading. Christmas, like I said, Christmas is right around. Actually, I did not say this in the video. I said that in the last video I just filmed. But Christmas is right around the corner. So, would love to know if you guys are reading any Christmas-related books, or if you're like me and you don't really read Christmas set books. Or if you read books that aren't necessarily Christmas set books, but they're kind of connected to Christmas, like I said, I'm reading this book, Hidden Sea, which is, a Nutcracker origin story. If you're reading any of that, I'd love to know. Or if there's a certain theme, not necessarily Christmas books, but books that you read in the wintertime, like fantasy or mysteries or something. Would love to know if you do. If not, then you know. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you have not already done so and you like this video. And I hope you are enjoying your reading, whether it's a Christmas book or a type of book that you read every year around this time of year. So I will talk to y'all later, and